First of all of these excellent points and extremely valid. So it might take a minute to go through all of these. If you look at this article, it mentions how even after accounting for inflation, 31 states actually saw prices drop from 2019 to 2024, but 17 states saw prices increase after inflation, especially out west and in the Northeast. But here's the bit that is not talked about a lot that is really contributing to this. Increasing residential electrification, including electric vehicles and electric stoves, is among other factors pushing up electricity demand. So, ironically, having to buy a Tesla or any other kind of EV is actually increasing those electrical prices. Now, to further that even more, when it comes to these AI data centers, the reasons why these prices are going up for people who live close to them is really due to the power companies needing to build extra infrastructure, improving the grid, which has been garbage for a while, making sure that they can distribute and handle this higher power demand. Now, if you look here, Microsoft is now saying they're just not going to pay for the energy its data centers use, but it's also going to cover the cost of updating, adding necessary electricity to the grid, just so that those local consumers don't get footed with the bill. Additionally, they're also trying to be a good neighbor by including plans to invest in the local water supply systems, libraries, and schools, as well with jobs and AI skills training. So, what else is being done about this high energy use? I don't know if you've seen it, but one of the things that they've talked about is building data centers in space. Why? You got the cold of space, which means you don't need to have any active cooling. Almost an indefinite power supply because they're being powered by solar energy. On the flip side, you're introducing more space debris, which makes it harder for scientists here on the ground to do their research because you have a lot of these bright satellites that are interrupting their imaging. One last thing that I was reading on one of these reports is that there's this concept of using submersive cooling for this, which is basically a system you're literally dunking it inside of a specialized fluid that will not evaporate, which is one of the leading causes of the increase in carbon dioxide. And one last point of clarification when it comes to the water usage. We've all heard the one GPT prompt is the equivalent of 1/15 of a teaspoon of water or something like that. That's not factoring in the water that is being used during the training of these things. Now, another aspect that is not indirectly tracked is the water used by existing power plants to generate that electricity that goes to the data centers. That actually far outweighs what the data center itself is using. So all that evaporative cooling is also mostly used in these power plants to just generate the day-to-day electricity. That's one of the reasons why Google has talked about potentially investing in a portable nuclear fusion plant, for a better term, that will allow them to generate that clean energy to power the data centers for AI. There's a lot more just to kind of cover everything that you mentioned here, so I'm going to do that in a follow-up video. But make sure you follow this account so that we could keep the conversation going because this is great.